Bam! What is up with the squad? It's Cess, your favorite auntie with Uncle Tendencies, and I'm in here to stir it up today. Happy Friday. Lil, what's going on?
All right. Ready to rock and roll.
Yeah,
Get
we've
these
been having
public
some good
lynchings out the
hoops.
way.
Yeah, we've been having some good hoops. Now we're gonna get to the business of the matter. The business of the matter, y'all. Welcome. Let's talk sports. Be wise, PoliSports Tea Time. Y'all know what it is. We here to expose power, not play highlights. We hear about the power right now. Okay, sports ain't entertainment right now. They're a political stage where black visibility is being tested in real time. You don't believe me? Look at Angel and Shedeur. Look at Angel and Shedeur. The fight isn't whether black athletes get to dominate. It's whether they can dominate without being punished. Angel Reese, Shedeur Sanders. They proven this point, y'all. Y'all hit the like and the share. They both right there. Their confidence gets criminalized. Swagger got weaponized, and their joy got turned into a problem. That isn't random backlash. That's a blueprint. System designed to police black presence every time it shines too bright. I'm so happy that Shedeur playing, but then I'm so irritated too. Now he playing, but then you get down to the red zone, and it's like he can't throw a touchdown. But that's what we bought him here for. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? It be the little things, and then they say, "Well, Wildcat." They ain't been running a Wildcat since the 1960s. I don't know for real, y'all. I just seriously, I didn't see a whole lot of Wildcat before he got back there. But this is where a gesture becomes a threat, a celebration becomes disrespect, and a win becomes a referendum on attitude. The machine behind it, media narratives and fan hostility, economic incentives, political currents, all working together. So we're going to break this down, and I want y'all to watch the patterns. Who gets praised for the confidence? Who gets punished for it? Who gets nuanced? Who gets reduced to a talking point? Sports, they the new civil rights battleground. Pay attention now. The score is the least important thing happening on the court. The score is the least important thing happening on the court. Y'all hear me? Okay. The score, least important thing happening on the court. I'm going to ask y'all about that. But we're going to cut through the noise with my co-host, the one who always names the power behind the plays. Political, what's happening?
All right, Auntie. Listen, let's just get straight to it. You know what Angel Reese and Shedeur Sanders are experiencing, that's not random criticism. It's really strategic humiliation. And it's an attempt to reduce their influence by attacking their confidence, turning their celebrations into indictments, and then using media framing to discipline them in public. And if you study the pattern, you'll see the fronts moving at the same time. It's the battle for narrative, the economics of power, and the unfinished struggle that America, seems to be very uncomfortable around black autonomy. And so these aren't separate issues. They really work together with the same machine. So tonight we're going to talk through each of these fronts and break down these case studies of this cultural backlash, because that's what it is. And then we're going to talk about the role of fans and the path forward. And we're starting with a spark. The moment where the fire caught national attention, the wave from Angel, the watch from Shedeur, the celebrations that shouldn't have really mattered. But suddenly, somehow, they became national scandals. So let's get into the next segment and talk about what happened and why this country reacted the way it did.
Hey, you know what's so crazy, Lil? Is that Angel Reese pointed to her finger, right? But you know who ringed me first? Do you know first person I seen do the ring me? Steph
Curry.
Steph say, ring me. Hey, and that was bravado. That was my cheese mo. That was on your flow. Before the fourth quarter is over, ain't nothing you can do. I'm going to be the champion. Ring me. It was celebrated. Ring me. Oh, man, it was all over ESPN. Ring me. Angel Reese did the same thing, pointed to her finger. Shedeur flashed that wrist. Simple celebrations, moments of joy. This is just a release of all your hard work, all the years, all of the backyard. You know what I'm saying? Lil, you played hoop. You know what I'm saying? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. School, yeah! Crowd goes around. All that. This is all of that coming to fruition on a national stage.
Mm-hmm.
This is all of them days that I didn't want to be in the gym. All of them days that I wanted to be with my friends. I could have been at the mall. I could have been at the prom. I could have been at the dance. I could have been at the movies. But I'm in the gym working for something bigger. That's all of that that's all of that. In that moment being celebrated. Nothing controversial, nothing wild. Just young black athletes doing what athletes have always done, celebrating greatness with style. The reaction, that's where the story jumped out. That's where shit got murked up. Like, what happened? Because I was celebrating with Angel, and then the next thing I know, people was mad.
Burnt the internet down.
I mean, listen, you hear me? I went back to see, well, what did she do in the game? What I overlooked it. I'm rewinding and fast forwarding and watching in slow motion. What happened? What she say? What she do? That's what y'all talking about? The ring me? Come on, stop it. See, those same gestures, like I just said, they get praised for the competitive fire, especially with white athletes do them suddenly. But when we do them, they classless, arrogant, unprofessional. With Angel and Shedeur, swagger turned into a national debate. You got people that I don't even know if they've ever watched them play sports talking about whether or not they should ring me and show the watch. They joy turned into character assassination. And the watch thing is crazy because the watch thing ain't look at me. It's time. It's time. It's my time. I work for this. It's my time. It's my team's time. The crazy thing is, every time they talk about this Shedeur, he's so what they call him, selfish. That's selfish, arrogant. Every time the kid open up his mouth, he ain't even talking about himself. I can't find a clip. I can't find a clip of Shedeur Sanders talking about himself without mentioning his teammates, his support, his family, his coaches. I can't find a clip of this kid not being about the community. Not, I mean, he done got to Cleveland. I didn't even know it was all these places to go in Cleveland. I ain't seen none of these other people there. I ain't seen Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson been off work 2 years. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, let's move around now. Let's talk about really for real what this kid is doing.
Yeah.
He been around throwing the football. He been out throwing the football with the kids at the hospital. I mean, doing everything that he can do to be a part of the community. Nothing classless, nothing arrogant, nothing unprofessional about this kid. Can't find a clip of it. But that's the narrative that they push every morning at 9 o'clock, right on time. Every morning, 9 o'clock, right on time. All these sports shows come up, and that's all they talking about. Shedeur Sanders is the hottest thing going in the NFL. Think about that. He is the biggest story in the NFL. He won one game.
Yeah, that is something to think about.
That's crazy. That's culture moving. Hey, he's powered. This dude he's him. It's all kind of other. It's good football going on this year. Plenty of good football going on. They ain't talking about it though. I don't understand. I don't understand. The backlash doesn't just criticize the moment, and I think that's what bothers me the most, Lil. It's because it goes after their identity, their marketability. It go after their pockets. You know what I'm saying? They count their change, then their future. That's not the sports. That's not sports discourse scene, and that's when the cultural policing comes in. So this ain't about what they did. It's about why America reacted how they did. That's the more important part. Why they acted how they all crazy about that? After you said, yeah, the girl did it. There's a lot of people that did that. You can't see me and all that wasn't no issue. But a black woman pointing at her ring finger become a think piece. Black quarterback showing swagger becomes a threat. Those reactions expose the rules the country still expects black athletes to follow. Rules rooted in control and not competition. So, Lil, let's start with the obvious. Why did Angel Reese and Shedeur Sanders get punished for the same swagger that gets celebrated when white athletes do it?
You know, both of them having, swag ain't really the issue. It's the fact that they're black and doing it. Black and having confidence. Because when whites show confidence, everybody, they competitive and they got fire, and they marketable, got that charisma. But as soon as a black athlete show the same fire, it becomes disrespect, classless, or arrogant. It's really, we all know it's a double standard. And it's rooted in politics, the politics of belonging. White athletes are assumed to belong to the face of a sport, but black athletes are tolerated, but they policed. And so Shedeur and Sanders, they didn't break any rules. They broke the racial hierarchy of who's allowed to shine. And so their confidence is, to me, it exposes insecurity of people who think black excellence must be humble, quiet, grateful. And so they didn't, the swagger didn't offend the game itself, but apparently some of the gatekeepers, act like they blew the locks off, or something of that nature.
Oh, I see you brought up Johnny Manziel. Oh, Johnny Manziel is a one-off. Oh, Johnny Manziel is a one-off. Yeah, so yeah, they treat Johnny Manziel like that because Johnny Manziel been to the cookout. Yeah, Johnny Manziel been to the cookout. He didn't care about letting y'all know he had been to the cookout, and he felt like he was welcome at the cookout. And Johnny Manziel, so here's the thing that I think about Johnny Manziel. I think that they felt like Johnny Manziel could pull the culture off, and they felt like he was, oh, look at him. He got the swag. He got the this. He got the that, just like them. Mm-hmm. But they thought they was going to be able to control him. And Johnny Manziel he turned to a zip damn fool out there. You understand me? He didn't give a damn about nothing because it wasn't about the game at that point. So they made a mockery of that entire situation. It's unfortunate. Yeah, Johnny's cool. Shedeur's arrogant.
I mean, look at Joe Burrow. He walked in. He swaggerless, all cool. Got the cigar rocking, and ain't nobody said, talked about his, acting arrogant or too above himself or being selfish to the teammates. You didn't hear none of that. He was allowed not even to say that I think that about Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is a cool cat. I don't know. You got to give us the same lens. That's my problem with it. Mm-hmm. And it ain't so much the Joe Burrows as it is like the Ryan Leafs and the Peyton, not Peyton, Eli, the entitlement, right? Like Shedeur is getting all of this because of who his dad was. But even when you go back and look at his dad, right? Like they like, oh, prime time. And it was just the nerve of him to name himself prime time. Because when you go back and really look at Deion, it's not a lot of, unless I'm forgetting, it's not a lot of, I can't think of off the field things that Deion had issues with. He's a hell of a football player. He's a hell of a baseball player. The most I seen him get mad at Deion about was that he wanted to play football and baseball in the same day. The nerve of you wanting to do both of your jobs on the same day at the same time, and they both scheduled. The nerve of you, right? That's how they played him. It's just arrogant. Okay, now, but they'll play us like we lazy. Like we just don't give a damn. Now here, man, say I'm gonna get a helicopter and I'm gonna go to this job and that job and we gonna make it work. I'm gonna do all the jobs, and then which game was it? I don't think that he played in the baseball game. I think he did all of that, and then he didn't get in the game. If I remember him telling the story, I don't think that he got in the game. But just the nerve of that. But when you think about so what do y'all punish them about Prime for? Because he was confident, because he delivered, because he was a champion. Like you can say whatever you want to say about Deion Sanders. You can't say that he's not probably arguably the best cornerback to play this game. Mm-hmm. Always performed. And isn't that what you're paying him to do? Perform.
Always performed. I mean, took care of his body. Gave it all every game. Like, what are we talking about, right? So, and when you look at the reactions, Leo, the headlines, the comments, the tone, the social media, especially, what do you see in the language people use to describe Angelo Shedeur? And what does that language expose about power and race in sports?
It's really that, the language, it's really not about their performance. It's about controlling them. And so they use these negative words like ungrateful, classless, entitled, needs to be humbled, and too cocky. And that shows how society still expects Black athletes to stay within a certain emotional range. They can be confident, but not too confident, successful, but not too successful. But then when you think about what it exposes, it's three things. It exposes punishment for visibilities. They don't want Black athletes to become the face of the sport. And so that's the way of backlash. Fear of agency. People resent Black athletes who narrate their own stories instead of fitting into a comfortable stereotype. They act like they still on the plantation. And then this kind of cultural policing, where the media want to use tones and wordings to discipline Black expression, especially joy, dominance, and self celebration. Oh, they just can't stand that. So these critiques, they not critiques. They put them out as warning to, as famously known, stay in your place. And so their very existence said, saying, hey, we're not going back to the plantation. That used to be our place. It's not our place anymore. We have a place in society, but they don't want to respect that. And so it's going to, and then the crazy part is the thing that happened with Reese, it's been over 2 years, and they still needle her. They still nitpicking it. Every little thing she do, they got something to say negative, no matter how positive, the action is. It's like, I don't think it's ever going to end for her. I don't think it's ever going to become a time, when she could just relax and be herself, And then they recently keeping her off the Forbes. I think it was the Forbes 30 under 30. I mean, how can you justify keeping her off that list when she's one of the most popular players out here? But they, that's the system, sitting in the editorial room. I can't stand her. I ain't putting on the. They still just doing little pot shots at her. I find it quite absurd.
Let's stay right there on that 30 for 30 Forbes list for a minute, because I was looking at it and it was like, okay, well, I see them and them. Okay, I see them. It was interesting, the people that were there and the people that were not. But when you looked at the sports list, so you had Coco, I think Kennedy was there, the pitcher. Beckers is there. SGA is there, I think. I'm trying to pull it up here real quick. Trinity Rodman is there. Wembenyama. None of these people on this list have more emotion than Angel Reese.
Not one.
None of them. None of them. Maybe Paige, but I don't even know Paige because, see, you weren't at the Met and you weren't at Victoria's Secret. Paige, you got motion and you move how you move. But Saquon, see you. Josh, I see you. Aaliyah Boston, love you, honey. You're a Gamecock. But maybe Coco, right?
Yeah.
Coco moving in a different stratosphere. Coco moving in a different stratosphere as far as the money go. But Angel Reese face probably would get in before any face on this list.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're being honest,
her brand gets in before any face on this list, probably. These people is coming out to see her. It's just really interesting. It's really interesting that she's not on this list. And I had asked too, like, was Asia on this list? And I think they said Asia was on like the 21 list. And I don't know if you can't be on the list again, but I mean, she's still under 30, so I don't know. They only feature athlete once. Okay, that's cool. So Angel was there what year? Last year. And so that's why she don't get it this year. Thank you, June, because that's what I wanted to know. Why is she not here? And I was also looking for Asia. So I'm glad this why I talk to y'all. This is why we come and talk to y'all. This is my chat fan better than y'all. So you can only be 30 under 30 one time?
Well, you're gonna be under 30 for what? 10 years or so?
So here, okay, I mean, yeah, y'all help me understand that. So if I hit the 30 under 30 at 21 and I keep being everything until 32, I can only be on the list one time. That's what Forbes say. That's why I come talk to y'all. Because I asked about Asia too, and they said Asia was on the list in like 21. Angel, okay, so she got hers last year. Okay, I give y'all that, Forbes. I give that to you. But I was concerned, like, yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, let's talk about that. Now I'm glad you brought that up. This is why I talk to y'all. See, when I say my chat better than yours, I mean that. The answer is always in the chat. Okay, so now, and so I got another question for the chat. Before the media got in, y'all, let's just go back to LSU was playing Iowa. It's time to win. Angel does the "You Can't See Me" and the "Ring Me." What is your initial reaction to that? What did you see? Did you see a celebration? Did you see a problem? Did you see a threat? And why did you interpret it that way? That's what I want to know. Just ask Coco Golf about Black Excellence haters. Just saying, yay area. No more doubt. What's up, fam? Yee. I ain't seen you in a minute. That's what they saying. Okay, they highlight new athletes every year. Okay, I'll take that. I take that. I appreciate. That's why I talk to y'all. I'm telling y'all. But I want to know, what did y'all think about that? Because in the moment for me, I was like, yes, let's go. I see you, Angel. That's right. Pop your shit, as you should. You finna be the champ. You can't you can't see me because I'm the champ, and you didn't see me.
Right. That to me, that's what it meant. You didn't see me, but I bet you see me now.
Think it like you can't see me and ring me. And then my reaction, because I remember it, was like, oh, she's trying not to see Angel. She's trying not to see Angel. You're trying not to look that way, but you don't see her, but you see her. And that's okay. If you don't see her, you'll feel her. And if you don't feel her, then you'll get it when she get a ring and you don't. And that was for everybody on the team. But before we break down how Angel got treated, we got to name the truth. Because none of this stuff, and I always tell you, okay, you saw celebration, good. Kids being kids, having fun on the floor. Yeah, that's the stuff that you watch sports for. I hate that they take away the celebration.
Yeah,
man, if you're a football player and you break 6 tackles to get to the touchdown, like Marshawn Lynch, yeah, grab your nuts, man. Go ahead, grab your pack. Go ahead, man. All that you did, he said you got to cap it off with something. Cap it off with something, because you don't know what nobody went through to get to where they are. As long as you ain't hurt nobody, who cares? Some of the most memorable things that happened. Who was that went out and stood on the star? Was that Terrell Owens went out there and stood on the star? Terrell Owens,
yeah.
Who was that went out there and act like they was mooning them? Who was that? That was Ocho Cinco. I think that was Chad Johnson. Act like it was either Ocho Cinco or Terrell Owens. Act like he was. You said it's weird not celebrating. Yeah. After you do all of that, just be like, well, okay, I'm gonna eat my sandwich now. What? No, hell no. It was Randy Moss. It was Randy Moss that act like he was mooning the people. And Ocho Cinco put the gold jacket on. Hall of Fame, and he don't know what year. Who was that when he got the phone out the goalpost and act like he made a call to his agent? These are the things that you remember about the game. You understand? That's fun. You don't want to take that out the game. I don't care. I don't care if Tyronn Lue win a championship for the rest of his career. You know what he's gonna be known for? Falling in the corner and Allen Iverson stepping over him in that corner. That step over. It was a step over basketball. And what you gonna do? But that was the swag. How many times did they play that on ESPN? That's how I know it was the swag. How many times did they play that? You can't see me, ring me on ESPN. That's how I know it was the swag. That's how I know it was marketability. And Jimmy Horn with the phone. That's what. Yeah. Come on, man. Talk about this stuff. I coach Pop Warner football 10-year-olds, and I teach them to have fun when they make plays. There are ways to do it without showing up to the other team. Yeah, you ain't got to show up to the other team, but sometimes you do. And sometimes that just happens. How many people remember Patrick Ewing? How pissed off he was when Scotty stood over him after that dunk. Man, push Scotty, man, get off of me, man.
And Shaq man, did too.
Get off of me, man. Yeah, get off of me.
Oh,
this is what we watch for. This is what we watch for. We were everybody. Hey, who was tuned in when it was Andre Rison versus Deion Sanders, and Deion is in Atlanta talking about this still my house. This still my house, Andre. What you gonna do? Come on, MJ Lover, what's happening? I think it's just an excuse to limit their money with fines and excuses for why they are not getting the biggest endorsement contract. Hey, listen, here's the thing. I'll pay your stupid fine. I'll pay the fine, but don't penalize the rest of the team. I'll pay the fine. That's crazy. Period. These are the things that make sports fun. These are
it's supposed to be entertainment, ain't it?
Brandy Chastain pulled off the jersey. They went crazy as if that woman was like topless. She had on more than people have on at a beach. She was more covered up than a bikini top, but they'll put that on TV. They'll put that on the cover. All of these celebrations, man, all of this fun stuff. LeBron with his get off, his he's stepping and pushing them down, like, you know what I'm saying? He's stepping on fools out here. Ja Morant with the grenade. Boom, covering his ears. You know what I'm saying?
It just blew you up. Oh wow. It's like a signature, really.
But it's crazy because it's the stuff that they replaying at their house. But then they want to find you. But it was the funnest part of the game for them too. And that's the crazy part. They'll police you about it, but then show it on the big screen at their house. Like, look at this, how much fun it was.
Mm-hmm.
They'll take that culture, they'll take that swag. And they'll put it in TVs, they'll put it in TV shows, they'll put it in commercials, they will reproduce that thing over and over and over and over and over again, but not want to pay you. And then had the nerve to charge you for some shit they finna use.
Gotta license everything.
You understand? So, like, America's always used this criticism, straight up humiliation to police black visibility. From be humble to don't act too confident to shut up and dribble, black excellence has always been given boundaries. And the moment a black athlete step past them boundaries, punishment come hard, fast, and loud, baby. Hard, fast, and loud.
Pull out the whip.
Oh, I get to cracking it. And Malcolm warned us, the media can turn the innocent into villains and the confident into threats. Angel didn't plan on being a villain. Shit, LeBron didn't even plan on being a villain when he made his decision, but he had to lean into it once it was done, right? The prophecy has showed up again with Angel and Shedeur. They joy got rewritten as disrespect, swagger called arrogance, confidence treated like defiance. But they storyline feeding families.
Exactly. That's the crazy
Somebody
part.
tell me what week is this in the NFL? Week 13, 14, 15. What the hell week is this in the NFL?
I think
Somebody tell me what week is this? Because and I'm asking that because I want to know. Go back and tell me the week that they didn't talk about Shedeur. Go back and tell me the week that ESPN and FS1 and all them morning shows didn't lead on Monday with what did Shedeur do, even though we know Shedeur didn't play. Feeding families.
Yeah, that's something to think about. People got whole jobs, YouTube channels, making money, everything.
Whole jobs. Talking about what Shedeur doing, and they come on and they get 9 million views to say Shedeur still ain't playing.
Oh wow!
But how many of them came back and said Shedeur got the win? See, that's the other part. They want to cover us when it's controversial, when it look like we about to lose, when they think we gonna crash out, when they think they're gonna get a viral moment for us doing something stupid. He just kept his head down and kept going to work. They keep looking for Angel to do something. Every time Angel, they keep looking for Angel to do something. Every time Angel show up, she done bought something new, owned something new. You know what I'm saying? Every time they look, Angel, what you doing? Owning shit? You know what I'm saying? Angel, what you doing? At the trademark office? Angel, what you doing? Helping the community? Angel, what you doing? Hey, tell him I keep pushing my own narrative. Oh, FM, if I get into the Gamecock speech, if I get into the Don Staley Gamecock piece of it, we'll be here all night. I don't want to keep y'all here all night. That's a show by itself. That's a special kind of hate. That's a special kind of hate they got for that woman. Because they taking it out on kids ain't even hers. At least they taking Dion, the hate they got from Dion, they taking it out on his kids. they got for Dawn, they just taking it out on everybody kids. Anybody kids Dawn deal with, they hate them.
Mm-hmm. Start a hate account. so she recruit them. Let's start a hate account.
Oh man. Oh, they over there with Dawn. Hey, new hate over there. New hate over there. It don't even matter. They be hating on kids that ain't even doing shit wrong. That's the crazy thing. How can you hate Aaliyah Boston? The worst thing that you can say about Aaliyah Boston, and I don't even think this is bad, is that she plays real physical. Worst thing they can say about her, she play real physical. She throw elbows, and so do you.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Raven Johnson. Every time they say something Raven can't do, Raven show up and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Raven can't score. She's scoring now. Now what y'all gonna say?
Yeah, they were putting her through.
They say, Raven, how did you get? I got closer to God and my family and worked on my body and got out my mind and talked to my therapist and put my money up, all of that. How can you hate Camila Cardoso? You ain't heard Camila Cardoso speak for 90 minutes in her career. You can't put together 90 minutes of Camila talking to the media on live for sure. Mm-hmm. She ain't said enough to the media for you to hate her. And if you hate Asia, well, you just hate excellence.
Mm-hmm. Consistency and brilliance, genius, all that.
Unapologetically herself. What is it to hate about her? Asia, you got a minute for the kids? Sure, where they at? Asia, can you come back? Sure. What you need me to do? Tell me. Cause some of these stories ain't good out here about some of these athletes, but when we talk about the ones I'm talking about, but these are the ones that they steady pushing out there like they the problem. It's some one-offs out there for sure. But for the most part, black excellence is black excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hated. I didn't even realize. I know we got a little off topic, but still on topic. I didn't even realize the hate. And I want to say it was like I almost want to say it was a movie about Muhammad Ali. I almost want to say it was a movie about Muhammad Ali. Well, I think it was Muhammad. And it's like after a fight, he's talking to the press, and the lady say, I come see you everywhere. And he said, oh, thank you, ma'am. She said, no, I'm coming to see you lose.
Mm-hmm. That was Ali.
Think about that. Everybody, 18,000 people in the arena in Colombia. For the most part, I would believe that they're there to support the Gamecocks. But when we go other places, it's people that are following just to be able to stand up and cheer when we lose. There are people, I believe it with my heart and soul. There are people that travel around, being where Dawn is at, to be in the building when they think she's gonna lose.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
It's people that can't wait to celebrate her taking the L.
They was chomping at the bits last night, praying.
Oh, they was like, oh, we gonna get 2 in a row. We gonna get 2 in a row. God, they had all their headlines together. They had their clips together. Down goes Dawn. Down goes Dawn. Down goes Dawn. Dawn ain't played basketball in 20 years.
Oh man.
Down goes Dawn. Down goes Dawn. Y'all sound crazy as hell. Dawn ain't going down. Dawn going up.
Mm-hmm.
She going up. Dawn just keep tick-tocking and dancing and moving and grooving. Where are all the Raven Johnson? Is it a WNBA player? Oh, don't start that one. You know me. Oh, yeah, stroking the streets. Raven will be lucky to get drafted. They out there still.
Mm-hmm.
Put the fingerprints on the last 4 minutes. Remember they told me Raven can't close? Remember? Remember I was just saying Raven closes defense. Oh, Raven don't close. Raven closes. Raven closes. But it's the new tools. Same tactic. Tweets, podcasts, borrow clips, 24/7 outrage machines, shaping the narrative in real time. I mean, they got bots out here hating Angel. There's a bot. How you hating? You just programmed to hate. Every time her name come up, put some hate out. That's crazy shit. Underneath it all, it's the same message though. America has pushed for generations. Black pride got to stay in the box or consequences. Got to stay in the box or it's consequences. Don't get too proud. Because you strip away the hashtags, headlines, pattern is obvious. Public shaming is still being used to shrink black athletes into acceptable form. So what's happening with Reese and Sanders, that's not new. It's a modern digital remix of an old script designed to warn every young black athlete watching, don't get too loud, don't get too confident, don't celebrate too boldly. We naming the script and exposing the system behind it. So, Lil, I got another question for you. When you look at Angel Shedeur's backlash through the lens of history, through the lens of history, and I talked a little bit about Muhammad and stuff, but what old patterns do you see resurfacing in modern form?
You know what? They just keep dusting off the same old playbook. When black athletes show confidence, leadership, or any cultural pride, they get framed as a threat that needs correction. And doesn't that sound like the plantation? So historically, black excellence has always been met with attempts to shame, humble, and discipline it. You can go all the way back to Jack Johnson in the early 1900s, to Serena Williams. And now Shedeur and Angel just becomes the latest example. So what we're seeing today is really a modern version of old pattern of punishing black visibility that doesn't bow, apologize, or shrink itself to make others comfortable. In other words, they still want people walking down the street, and as soon as a white person appear, duck your head. All these kind of customs and norms they had during Jim Crow era. I mean, these people are mentally ridiculous, because they still haven't let that go. It's just in their DNA, passing from generation to generation. They still think of us as people not having a right to do anything. And that's you uncomfortable. Why? Because you must be insecure. That's the only reason I would think you would be uncomfortable.
Lil, I see people jump in the comments all the time. Not all the time, but from time to time, we get these people in and say, we've moved past that. This is for us to stop spewing the hate. But why don't y'all to stop selling racism? What's your response to that? To people who feel like it is us. It's PoliSports Tea Time. It's political Lil and Cess spewing this hate out like we just like the world's moved past it and we stuck in the 60s. What's your response? I know what my response is, but it's probably not safe for work to say it on here, so I'll let you say it.
It's ridiculous and shows that a person doesn't have a level of intelligence to understand that a system is still in place that was put in place at the inception of this country. It has never changed. It has it comes in different forms. But the hierarchy, white male at the top, black everything at the bottom, has not changed in this country. We haven't moved anywhere. Only thing is we changed from plantation, forced labor to wage labor. And a lot of people forget Angel and Shedeur are employees. So no, nothing has changed. We still getting dogged out. We still at the bottom of the totem pole. And no matter how we try to pull ourselves up by these bootstraps that y'all never did put anywhere, it's the same old thing. All we doing at PoliSports Tea Time is explaining a system that is in place, giving you a reason why you're seeing the kind of things, because sports mirrors society. What goes on in society always shows up in sports. Why? Because it's the practice field. If politics wasn't in it, if the system wasn't activated, you wouldn't have people like 47 saying anything. He got his fingerprints all over sports. You wouldn't have a Nick Saban up there trying to get an executive order to control how money is made in football. Why? Because the system is still in place, and it hasn't changed. We don't have we're not living in a society, and if you are, you really in another space. You're not living in a society where everything is equitable or equal. And anybody that looks at daily highlights, watch how these people are treated, knows better. If you knew your history, you would know that ain't a damn thing changed. You still got the same system in place the country was built on. And until there's a revolution, the system will continue because it's benefiting the same people. You know, for somebody to say that, that's crazy.
You said headline. I want to say something about the headline. South Carolina managed the end of the game to a win, right? Headline: Dawn Staley and the Gamecocks escape. Dawn Staley and the Gamecocks survive, right? Another team going there and do it. It would have been UConn Stuns.
What a brilliant strategy.
Yeah.
What a genius move. That would have been the headline.
Oh, way to manage the game at the end, right? This is
what poise. Poise under fire.
Yeah, meanwhile, it looked like we just accidentally won some shit that was chaotic. And that's what I'm talking about. Words matter. And that's why I push back about words. And survive. Bulls won out. Escapes. No. It's the energy behind it.
Mm-hmm.
How can they hate Alicia Gray? I don't know how anybody can hate Alicia Gray.
Sweetest young lady. Sweet on and off the court. Exactly. She ain't said 2 words. But she's successful.
From Alicia
That's what it is.
Not only that, and a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and smart with it. Now Alicia ain't gonna do nothing but grin at you, hit you with the peace sign. Put Texas wins again, remain on top. Yeah, that kind of thing. Oh.
And our success, if you go back in history, says our success has always led to terrorism, death. You know how many black towns were burned down just because they were successful? You know, you have a successful grocery store, they go burn it down. You know, don't sit up here and tell me that we have moved on. We haven't moved past anything. See, if you still in the 60s, then your mind needs to go back in history. This been going on forever, ever since we became a free people. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. We're still being treated the same way. These little taxes that you see happening with Angel and Shedeur, you can trace it back to almost any top athlete. She mentioned Ali. You can look at the young men that raised their fists in the '68 Olympics. You can go back to Wilma Rudolph and how she was treated. Athea Gibson. We talking about going back to the 50s, the 30s, the 40s. You still got the same system in place, and no matter what generation comes, they get indoctrinated into the same system. Your mental is that, you know, you're superior. White supremacy have gone nowhere. It's alive and active. And if you knew your history, you would know nothing has changed. We don't live in a colorblind society. Never did and never will. This country, it was built. If somebody builds something on success, it's very rare that they would change it. If you have a successful system you have put in place for 250 years, you're not going to wake up suddenly and say, oh, we need to do a new system. No more than what's happening with the WNBA, CBA. Those guys have got to know that they're wrong running a sharecropping model. You think they're going to get up one day after all the money they raking in, secretly being able to hide the books and say, oh, we're going to do the right thing? That's not going to happen. That's why you got a battle going on. But go ahead, Cess. I don't get off the story now.
But it's the same. Okay, it's the same. It's the same. And it usually goes like this, right? So you got this white male dominated industry with mostly black people at the bottom, and then they'll give you a couple look like use, to own a few, to look like they own something, but they really don't. They propped up too. Hence, Nadia down there in Chicago, right? Because
trot her out every time it's a face of failure need to be shown. They go trot her out.
So what is Shedeur ceiling in the NFL? Do you think he can be a top tier quarterback and lead a team, or if he stays with Cleveland, his career will go down the drain? Cleveland is a graveyard for quarterbacks. Oh, Cleveland is a graveyard for quarterbacks. Shedeur, to me, doesn't have a ceiling. He doesn't have a ceiling. He will write his story. See, the thing about Shedeur, and people will say, is he that good of a quarterback? Hell yeah, he's that good of a quarterback. And the reason that I say that he's that good of a quarterback is because you think about, and people they question that because he started at
Jackson State. Did he start
at Jackson State?
Yeah.
Like he was like he can only get to HB, like he can only get to HB at HBCU, right? But when you think about it, this young man was I think he was at Colorado. He was at Colorado. I think Shedeur was only there for 2 years. Now, who was that? Who was at Colorado? Was that Detmer that was there? Was that Coy Detmer? Who was the quarterback that held all the records? Because whatever records they held, it took them 4 years to set those records. Shedeur Sanders showed up and broke every quarterback record in the book with 2 years of games. His ceiling? He doesn't fucking have one. He'll write that thing. Think about that. In 2 years, he went in there and destroyed Ty. I don't know if it was Ty or Coy, but I think it was a Detmer. Thank you, MJ. In 2 years, I went in there and surpassed everything it took you 4 years to build. They don't even talk about that really. But if you go check out Shedeur's records and you go check out the Colorado quarterback records, and tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Go check them records. Yeah, Cordell was from up there and everything, but I want to say it was a Detmer up there too. Black excellence is downplayed. White winning is overblown. I was going to ask another question, but let's cut the noise. This was never a celebration about the ring meet or the wrist flex. The outrage came from what Angel and Shedeur's success symbolized. See, when we celebrate ourselves loudly, proudly, without apology, it exposes a truth America still is not ready to handle. Black autonomy doesn't shrink. Black joy that doesn't dim, and black excellence that doesn't ask for permission. They still can't handle that. Shh. Why you got to be so loud about it? Because I want it. Why I can't be loud? You loud.
Exactly.
Yeah. Woo-hoo! Yahoo! All that. Right? But it's a problem. It's a problem when we don't shrink. We hear all that coded language. Class is arrogant. Confidence is a problem. Joy is a disruption. The real play is the same swagger that is labeled leadership in white athletes magically becomes disrespect when we do it. And that's that cultural policing trying to pass as analysis. And that's why it's bigger than sports. Because them narratives don't just strip up online drama, right? They don't stir up just the online drama. They don't shape careers. They start hitting in the pocketbook. Start hurting your wallet. Start hitting the coins. But they hit the NIL value. They start shaping endorsements. They impact mental health. They limit your visibility and your financial opportunities when they start talking about you like that. And this is why y'all get on my nerves. I get on y'all nerves because not y'all get on my nerves. I get on y'all nerves with words matter because I know y'all don't want to hear that, but words matter. And this is why words matter because they hit the NIL value. They shape endorsements. They impact mental health. They limit visibility and financial opportunity. If I say Angel Reese escapes with a win, you like, escapes with a win. Might want to give you a couple dollars. But if you say Angel Reese leads her team to a last-second win, you sit up in the chair. You want to see that. You want to know what that highlight looks like. You want to know more about Angel Reese leads. What did she say? What did she get? You know, now you start imagining. Was she in the huddle? Did she give a powerful speech? What was it in that leadership? You want to pay a little bit more for that.
Mm-hmm.
That backlash becomes a tool, and it's strategic because it's designed to shrink your influence and cap your profit and punish your brilliance. And that's not a cultural misunderstanding. That's not people going, oh, we don't understand. That's bullshit. That's not that. That's political strategy disguised as sports talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, that's what it means in y'all culture. You know what it means in our culture because you've been watching our culture for over 400 years. Thousands of years. So you know that's not what it means. Man, they call Tim Tebow a winner still, right now. Tim Tebow is a winner right now still. And that's not a knock on Tim. Tim had his brand and he went with it. It worked for him. But Tim ain't praying no harder than Shedeur.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the reactions to Reese and Sanders, Leo, what political fears or cultural anxieties do you think are culturally being triggered here? And then I want you to talk about this new word that it seems only comes up around Black excellence. Gamecock fatigue. Asia Wilson fatigue. Las Vegas Aces fatigue. They only get tired when Black people win it, but go ahead. Steph Curry fatigue. They get tired of seeing these niggas win. No, they fatigue. But okay, let's talk about it.
Look, the backlash is really about fear of a shift in power landscape because you have to remember everything is about power. And so Black athletes who are confident, influential, and media savvy are in full control of their own image. And so that challenges a system that has been able to historically dictate how Black talent is supposed to behave. And so, yeah, Angel and Shedeur trigger anxieties about losing cultural dominance, losing ownership over a narrative, and losing the ability to regulate Black expression. Because if a white person lives for nothing else, they live to control Black people. And that's that Western European mindset all the way over here to the United States. It's just like, somebody put the DNA in or something. If you don't control nothing else in the whole globe, you got to control Black people, And so when you have that Black person that has that unapologetic confidence, I mean, in any industry, it signals a new generation can't be controlled by the old rules. And boy, got them shaking in their boots. It scares people who rely on the rules to maintain control, which I think is unnatural. I even think it's demonic for you to have a desire to control another person. God gives us free will. And I used to tell people who are trying to run game, I'm like, look, I think, especially these religious people, look, God gave me free will. Somebody come to you talking about, well, God told me, well, then he needs to call me because I'm just a phone call away too. Why he gonna tell me something? I ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about. So that's an unnatural thing to me, to have a desire to want to control other people. And what was your other question about the that you was asking me about
the fatigue?
Yeah, why they have fatigue?
Why they tired of seeing gone?
It's a control mechanism. Okay, I want to be able to switch you on and off like a light switch. When I don't want to hear from you, click. I want you to disappear. When I don't want you winning championships, I want to be able to turn you off, turn you on, turn you off, turn you on when you can make me some money, turn you off when I'm just sick and tired of having you out there. The more visibility you have, the more likely you have influence. And you even have little kids that, little kids of all races, look up to Black athletic heroes and, entertainers and stuff like that. And act like that just threatens how the kid gonna feel about them, So fatigue is another buzzword. It's a little buzzword. Let's can we all collectively figure out a way to kill their joy? I mean, if we come out with a new dance online, people be falling all out. It's just crazy. We put our boots on the ground. That was a problem. So any kind of expression, because they still got that slave picture, that plantation picture in their mind. Docile slave getting beat into submission and stuff like that. And even though we so-called evolved, and I don't know who thinks we have, they still want us to display that we are not free in order for them to be comfortable. It's crazy. I mean, because the amount of money that these black athletes are making and feeding, they're not just feeding their family, they feeding white families. If you got a white Asian, you providing him an income. You providing an accountant an income. You providing a lawyer income. And it's still white dominated, male dominated. So what they can do, they get to go home, buy the big house, car, take care of their kids. And it's all off of your brilliance. And then some of them still have the nerve to want to control that. They don't want to ever lose control of the ability to pimp, play, and hustle you. Your genius, your gift, your labor. And that's the whole thing, because you sat here, your founding fathers sat here and built a whole nation, based on human trafficking. It's the same thing with human trafficking. You only human traffic people for sex and labor, and so it's just that mentality. They act like they don't have no other means of making money
with that
other than that.
but trafficking ain't nothing but kidnapping, which ain't nothing but enslavement. See, they just put a new name on it.
That's all they do.
See what I'm saying? Just a new name, just rebranded. If you look at trafficking, you like, well, damn, that sound like they came and took you from where you was at, and you got to stay and do what they say. And then you don't want to be there, and if you don't, it's okay. Well, that sounds like you got to be on the plantation, and then if you don't, then they whoop you, and then well, wait, because now you got kidnapped, and then you didn't want to be there, and you got to do it. Come on. I want to ask Eric Gary a question, because you say that Shedeur is just in a bad situation, and I please explain what you mean there about just in a bad situation, because when I think about Shedeur, he's not just in a bad situation. He was strategically put in this position.
Yeah.
Strategically put in this position. And the reason I say that is because there's about 32 NFL teams, I believe. And I think it's about 224 picks normally, right? If you just look at the number of rounds that they have and the number of teams, but then you get compensatory picks and everything at the end. I think they had like 257 picks. In the 2025 draft, right? And Shedeur I believe he went number 144.
Yeah, 144.
Now, this was after he was projected to be top 3.
The second pick.
They had him at 2, they had him at 3, they had him at 9 to New Orleans. Let's just say that he was going to be a top 10 pick. He didn't just happen to end up at 144 after that. It's hard for me to believe. It's hard for me to believe that. There were a lot of people that were complicit in making sure that young man didn't go to 144, and it got to the point where even the white people was like, okay, wait a minute, we had said punish him, but not that much. We had said humble him, but not that much. 47 was like, hey, draft him now, hey. What y'all doing? Hey, now, wait a minute. What are y'all doing? Draft him now. This was calculated. This was on purpose.
Giving out his number.
There ain't no way you go from being projected at 3 or 9
to
and then end up at 144. And there's nothing that you can look at in his game, which is what they were drafting him about, how he played. There's nothing that you could look at that fell off in his game from when you had him at 2, at 3, or at 9. There's no way that you could tell me that Travis was one of the best receivers in here, one of the best receivers in the draft, right? And did he throw the balls to his damn self? Somebody had to throw that young man those balls to be that receiver. That was Shedeur Sanders. Ain't no way you gonna tell me that a young man who is working out with Tom Brady, and people may say, "Oh, Cess, well, he was working out with Tom Brady because Tom Brady was in the NFL, and so was Deion Sanders in the NFL." It's a lot of former players that got sons this playing football. Is Tom working out with them?
Good point. Tom
Brady ain't spending his time with just any damn body. And Tom Brady and Deion Sanders didn't play on the same team together. Exactly. Not that I remember.
They didn't win no chips together.
Not that I remember where it was like, oh, Tom, bring him by, Tom. Tom, bring him by, Deion. You know how I don't remember none of that.
That's a good point.
A way to control and create a narrative. Okay, we on the same. Okay, Eric, we on the same page. I thought you were saying like, oh, he just in a bad situation. It'll be better next year. And that's what I was asking. That's why I wanted to get clarity right there, because I'm looking at this thing like, hey, this is some real calculated foolishness going on.
Yeah, counting the number of black quarterbacks, and so you want to hold him back from getting selected by a team, so you don't have an imbalance, more black quarterbacks than white. I mean, just a bunch of nonsense. Even Stephen A. said, these selections are not on merit. They on political moves. They on politics of control. Everything about control.
So let's stay right there, because words matter. Arrogant, unprofessional, emotional. How do those type of words reinforce the deeper political narratives about who gets to lead, succeed, and shine, Lil?
Look, those labels act like they coded political messages designed to limit black authority. And so they frame black confidence as a problem while casting white confidence as leadership. And so when you see those words like arrogant, emotional, they function as soft barriers, quietly suggesting that black athletes lack discipline, composure, and maturity. Just like they did in the game last night. They try to act like Raven them did not display discipline, composure, and maturity, because that's how they won that game. And so those are qualities linked to leadership and marketability. So that language, it doesn't just critique behavior, it protects the hierarchy by signal, giving out the signal of who's worthy of being the face of a sport and who should remain, in their place, when all we doing is generating practically all the dollars in the space.
Exactly. Now, let's get into it, because we can't talk about Heat without calling out the group that nobody ever checks. That's the fans. Hold on, let me see what you say down here. He could really be the next great. He can make all the throws. He can lead, and he has his dad behind him. Not only do he have his dad, he has a great. Listen. Okay, we talk about the Angel Reese. We talk about the Angel Reese blueprint, and that's the thing. So Eric Gary, we're gonna talk about how this is how he can be controlled, by not letting him play. That's the only way that they can control him. So when you think about everything you think about it, Deion went and he played football and baseball at the highest level, right? You think about, now you got Shedeur coming behind him. Deion's learned so many things, right? So when you look at how Shedeur was set up, Deion coached him from the beginning. He put him out there and he said, "Oh no, you're gonna get what they say." They tell the story. It was very, very early in his career. You're gonna get some kids killed out here. You can't even teach them how to hit properly. So let me get in here so that my kids don't get killed out here. So he's trained them from the beginning. He's put the right. He's fed their mind, their body, their spirit, their soul. Think about it. These young men, think about how they well-rounded. Shiloh sat down at that computer, at that piano. Y'all thought he was gonna make a fool of himself. Played the most beautiful piano y'all heard all weekend. Turn it up. You see, well-rounded. You look at Bucky. Look at Well Off Media. Created a narrative. Created a platform that delivers the narrative. Created a platform where if you want to know what's going on with the Sanders, any of them, you start at Well Off Media first. You start at Bucky first. That's where the news gonna break about the Sanders first. What's your man? What's the ESPN guys? Can't none of them break the story for Bucky break the story. Not about the Sanders. So now you can't control him because he controls his own damn narrative because that's their platform. He got his people around him. So the only way that they can control him is by what? Not letting him play.
And then not letting them score touchdowns when he do play.
And then when you do put him out there, you let him get but you look a zip damn fool. Now you done let the man get all the way down here to the touchdown and to the red zone, and then we gonna see if we can wildcat it in there. We didn't wildcat it down the field. Exactly. And see, this is why we got to talk about the fans. There was a play in that game. It was fourth down. It was fourth down. They had Shedeur walk out there. They hiked the ball in a wildcat. This joker couldn't even catch the damn ball. Fumbled it, messed up the play, lost the ball. But Shedeur had to stand out there, and this is what I'm talking about. What are you out there for on the wildcat? Y'all don't make him be out there all the time on the wildcat. Y'all to sit the wildcat out there without his ass before. But this time you sent him out there. Now he's standing back there with his hands in his pocket, knowing he could have did something, keeping his hands warm in the little cubby thing, his little hoodie thing, because he wasn't gonna get to make a play anyway. And that ain't even about him. Stefanski ought to be ashamed. Because if he had any type of backbone, he would stand up and let that young man play football. But, and I'm not talking about the harmless fans, not the jersey wearing vibe checking fans. I'm talking about the ones who turned into the digital mobs, weaponizing opinions, the ones who enforce racial boundaries from the stands to the timeline. See, people love pretending that the audience is neutral. They not. The audience ain't neutral. That's why the hell we're there. It's short for fanatical.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody there. I'm just here so I don't get fined. You a lie. I'm here for my team, and I'm gonna be cocky about it, and I'm gonna be ruder because we got shooters. That's what I'm here for. When you put that garnet and black on you, it's a different little. You step with a different little swag. When I put my Warriors final champion hat on, man, it's different. We ain't doing it now, but I bet you can't tell me about that year. The crowd has always been political. Angel tag classless. Shedeur hit with the arrogant. That blow up isn't organic. Fans grab the coded narratives from commentators and run that same racist playbook louder and nastier because it goes unchecked in social media. Except for platforms like this and you all pushing back on narratives and getting in the comments and letting people know. Yeah, he should be ashamed, but he not. And you know why? Because he's doing his job. That's exactly what they paying his ass to do. He go home and sleep like a baby. I'm talking about Stefanski.
Exactly. He following the instructions.
He go home and sleep like a baby. I did my job today. The boy ain't play, did he? He ain't look good, did he? I did my job today.
Had his QB rating low because he wasn't out there when the damn touchdowns occurred.
And then social media turned into a full-on assault. Harassment in the comments, threats in the DMs, viral humiliation campaigns, y'all trying to shame, silence, intimidate. We used to stay in the stands now plus every timeline. Legalized sports betting made this worse for some of y'all too. Like Camilla said, don't put me on your goddamn parlay then. If you got to hit me up about your parlay not hitting, then you shouldn't have a parlay. Wow. Some fans ain't just watching the game. And then you get they become what I like to call them unhinged investors. They get unhinged investor mad when they parlay don't hit. When they parlay die. Now you mad at Camilla. Now you mad at SGA. Now you mad at Angel. Miss free throw becomes you owe me money. Turnover becomes you deserve threats. Ugliest backlash always lands on the black athletes, though. The ugliest backlash always lands on us. The entitlement, wow, y'all. and the hostility, it gets sharper in this political climate right now. The line between critique and danger is razor thin. Razor thin. Think about that. Them women talking about people walked up on their hotel, caught them at their hotel, met them where they staying at the night. That can get out of hand real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick. Because I can go from professional athlete to protecting myself very quickly. And depending on who I am and where I'm from, that could look like something that you ain't never seen before. You'd be the caught ass whooping. and then this person is viral for protecting themselves. And now you want to cancel culture on them for protecting themselves. Oh, look at them being an angry black woman. Yeah, she said that. Stop putting me on your goddamn parlay. She said it on the live. Stop putting me on your goddamn parlay. When fans tie their wallet to a black athlete's performance, that rage gets personal and incredibly dangerous depending on who they are. See, when I say I'm sheckling, I'm just a sheckling there. This is for education, entertainment, informational purposes only. I mean that. If you got this thing tied to whether or not the lights are staying on tomorrow, you might need to call a gambler. If you sitting up and you know whether we gonna eat or not is whether Angel get this double tonight, then you didn't have it to bet.
Mm-hmm.
You should have made some stone soup with that $1. Got your little potato, little salt, little pepper, little butter. Understand? You can bake it, you can boil it, you can mash it, you can fry it. Get you 3 or 4, man, and live on it for a day or 2. But we getting out of hand with some of this shit that we doing. When we talk about hostility today, Lil, especially the social media. I want to stay on the social media piece. Do you see this as a continuation of historical crowd behavior, or is this evolving into something a little bit more dangerous?
You know what? It's an old mob mentality upgraded with the digital weaponry of the internet. See, historically, crowds have always tried to police and punish black athletes, but today's social media turns that hostility into a 24/7 swarm that feels anonymous, consequence-free, and it's just far more aggressive. So the danger now is scale and speed. You know, one moment of swagger can trigger millions of people to participate in a coordinated humiliation ritual. And so it's not just a continuation of what happened in the past. It's really an escalation because the digital crowd can reach into an athlete's life in ways that, you know, physically that we never could. So this digital thing is making it worse for athletes to step on these platforms and try to perform, you know, because any little thing you do can become a viral moment that could crush instantly. You know, when we had physical newspapers and stuff, you know, you had to wait till extra read all about it. But now it's just you right in the stadium, flip on the phone. Next thing you know, person all over the place. You know, so that could become dangerous.
I think too, you make a good point that it was in the newspaper and not visible, right? So you hear about I'm not gonna stay here, but I want to say I think the young man's last name was what's the Baltimore Raven running back? Was his last name Rice? Is that his name?
Oh yeah, the one that hit the lady in the elevator.
So we had heard about a lot of different physical altercations, all kind of stuff happening with men and women and men, that kind of stuff. But it wasn't until because Ray Rice, it was like almost like they was gonna give him a slap on the wrist. They was gonna treat him like usual, and then there was a video with it. Then there became
elevator video.
Visual. Then it became a visual representation of it, and that changed everything. That ended homeboy career.
Right on the spot.
This is when we started seeing the cancel culture come in. Who else? Who else was that? Ocho Cinco. Ocho Cinco looked like he was on his way back to playing football. He headbutted that lady, messed that lady face up. Career over. So, and not that they were right in these moments. What I'm talking about is when you have what a visual representation adds to. Adds to a situation from it just being in a newspaper or us waiting or us, also the instant information, because we would hear something on the radio, you'd be like, "Oh, that was messed up," and then we still had to wait 7 days till the jet came out, right? You would hear it, and then you had to follow up. You'd be like, "Oh, when the jet come out, we'll talk about this again on Saturday or whatever." When the jet came in the mail. Now you get the audio, you get the video, you get the story, you get the backstory. All if you follow the right platforms, you can know the whole story by the end of the day. All sides of the story, and that's really different, and that's something that these young people have to also navigate in this time of hate and hostility. So I wanted to throw that out there because I thought that was a good point you made about it was in the newspaper before. Now it's right there in your face, viral, even if you didn't want to see it. As soon as you open your phone, boom, there it is.
You ain't left the stadium, it's right in your face.
I wasn't even gonna look for it. Here it go. As soon as I open up, man, I wasn't looking for this. Bam, it's right there. So it is a very, very different time. I thought that was a great point. That it is way, way more than just the newspaper now. It's very visual, and then you get a on Instagram tell you what they sister think, they daddy think, they mama think, what their cousin said. Yeah. And the visual of it made it cancel right away. Because it looked like Ray was going to come back to football. Remember? If I'm misremembering, think about it, y'all. It looked like Ray was on his way back to football.
Yeah, he married the girl. Because it was the fiance. He married the young lady and all this kind of, and she had so-called forgiven him and blah, 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 bloom. But that was a no-go. He was out.
And maybe they did. And good for them if they were able to move past that. Because people in different relationships, stuff happen. I don't judge that. So if they were able to do that, great for them. But just my point being that as soon as it didn't matter what happened. Once the visual hit, it didn't matter what happened. It didn't matter what the story was, because a picture's worth 1,000 words. And if people put their own words on it. FM, not tear the beauty of the week out. Hold on, Jet Magazine. Not tear the beauty of the week out. You must have had the beauty of the week up on the wall. Remember when you still put the posters up on the wall and everything? Yeah. And I say that to say also too, like what Ray Rice did was terrible, but it doesn't matter what the issue is now. It doesn't matter what the issue is now. Once it's on video or viral, it's out there. It doesn't matter unless you Rodney King. Now they had that on VHS tape. They whooped that man till he was tired, like Tommy Davis said. They whooped that man at LAT. They was tired. It was on the video. It didn't matter. So it also it goes to just show it depends on
who it is.
Who's the victim? And Rodney King went on to have his own challenges and everything. I'm not going to go into that. But in that moment, you heard it and then you were able to see it. And he was like, for sure, they're going to jail. And sure enough, they walked out like, who? Oh, no.
Justified.
How does sports gambling and this sense of entitlement, Lil, getting back to where we were at, fuel, I think that the aggression, I think is the right word, we're seeing toward Black athletes. And what's really happening psychologically and politically in that fan-player dynamic?
I hated the day that sports gambling became legal, and I hated it more that they would pull that off, in college, because now you're dealing with a younger mentality. But this sports gambling has turned these fans into, investors who think athletes owe them emotional obedience and perfect performance, and that they're entitled, this entitlement mentality that they have. It hits Black athletes the hardest because it taps into the old belief that Black labor should be controllable. So when a bet is online, fans feel licensed to dehumanize the player, and then the language quickly becomes racialized. That damn ninja missed the shot. Who this H thinks she is can't score a point. So psychologically it becomes a projection. Politically, it's back to their ownership mentality. So the fans treat Black excellence as something they can discipline when it doesn't serve their interest. So in other words, if you didn't come out here with the perfect performance, and I've never known sports to be a perfect performance, or if I think the couple of weeks ago, Steve Kerr had took somebody out and he got cussed out because somebody missed a parlay. They needed the person to get one more free throw or some other foolishness. He was even saying himself, he said, I'm not gonna coach, to the fans' wishes, telling me who to move in and out the game based on what your book is saying.
Hey, Steve, I need one more rebound, Steve. How you gonna sit him down for the fourth quarter, Steve?
Yeah.
Hey, the fans be out here like we done bought a pair of Jordans that they playing in. We paid for a camp or something. Hey, y'all be wilding. Like,
it's really ridiculous, and they becoming more of a mob mentality that could get people hurt. Because you can't stop 100,000 people from storming a field, or even 20,000 from really storming a basketball court. You don't have enough police for that.
Let's have another conversation. Let's have another conversation. Okay. Let's have another conversation, family. Let's have another conversation, family. Now, seem like all the cheating and carrying on and the calls and who out and who gonna play and is LeBron toe hurt or not didn't matter until you saw, and I'm serious now, y'all. I see some of my young brothers and sisters out here, professional gamblers. Do you hear me? Out here really getting to the money, being pro gamblers. I'm like, what you do for a living? Oh, no, auntie. I got a couple tickets in. I'm playing me a couple numbers, and then you going to work? No, auntie, I hit the lotto last week for 50,000. I didn't cash 20,000 out the casino last week. Just running up and back and forth to the store, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's young people out here, and it's young people of color out here really getting to the money. Now think about that. And Rob the Man Media always talking about Mr. Shake My Hand. They've been shaking their hand a long time. Donnie's story came out. Donnie's story came out a long time ago, didn't it? Before social media, before online betting, before all of that. So it was people out here getting rich off sports, getting rich off gambling, getting rich off point shaving, getting rich off, is so-and-so playing tonight, or do they back hurt, or they playing, but they got a headache, to the point that they are now out here making bets based on what woman is on her cycle tonight. They want to know that much information. They got this much information out here floating around, Lil. They get serious about it now. Has it been 28 days yet? How they out here counting it? You hear me? If you know, Lil.
Ooh,
so it wasn't until, it's ugly. But here's the other thing. The fact that they paying people for this type of information. This is how serious this gambling is. They want to know, listen, they get down into, how did you play with them shoes on? How did you play with that hairstyle? How did you play when you ate this?
Right? With your braids too tight.
Here's the thing. You done heard me joke about it on the show. Oh, everybody got a new hairstyle. We're gonna be a little tight today. Gotta let that new growth come in. You understand? Got a slight headache today because it just got braided. Every little thing matters. They got into these analytics. Information is power. All of the data. This the world we live in. Think about it. I don't know what I've said on this show. I don't know what I've said on this show that I haven't said before. But let me tell you, whatever word it was, by the time I get back to my Facebook, it'll be 9 advertisements for it. Do you hear me? Just because I said it and it's in the algorithm now. Raven don't have eyelashes on. Chloe ain't wearing a sleeve. Angel only wearing a partial sleeve. Angel hair down today. Angel got braids. We got a bust down. We got our hair out natural. We look at all of that stuff. Think about it. I be up here saying, and I tell you all the time, man, I like 2 Puff Joyce. I'm not gambling on 2 Puff Joyce though. How much air in the ball? Well, what floor are they playing on? I forget what the Boston Celtics arena used to be. Wasn't no air conditioning in there. Oh, it's gonna be hot in that joker. All of these things factor in, but it wasn't until comic folks got to making bread, leaving their job and just being pro gamblers, that now we need to We need to take a look at this. We need to nail this thing down. We need to get it under control.
Right. Call the FBI.
Right. Oh,
who playing poker at the house? I'm scared to play cards. I'm scared to play spades.
I bet you I won't run a blind 10 nowhere. I bet you I won't. I'll play. You better play spades in the park. Just out in the open where they can see you. Ain't no counters around here. Just, can't do nothing. But I'm just saying, I'm looking at it and they policing it different now. It was something that we always knew took place.
Yeah, remember back in the day when the football, you had the little squares. There used to be squares. You can
play squares right now. You can play squares right now online. What? Yeah.
They took it online. Oh no.
Yeah, but see the thing is, but the thing is, see, here's the thing. Now we at the house on Super Bowl, we done made the paper. Look at us, we got some squares. 0 to 9, 09 way, 0 to 9. You put your $5, I'm put my $5. We gonna have a good time. Okay, we made our $75, right? Okay, bam. But what we didn't know is there's really a strategy. And you really should pick, you just don't pick a square, pick the right square. Because the point is, what's the last 2 digits of the score at the end of the quarter? So, it might be a 0 and a 4. Oh, I want to go there. Somebody might got 10, somebody might got 14, somebody might got 3, somebody might got 7. But now it's a whole write-up on how to pick the square. What do you all think about a WNBA combine? They should have been had one. But in order to have a true combine, they have to really change how the WNBA does business. They don't have enough days before I got to be at work to have a combine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because the guys, they have what, 3 or 4 months?
7 months.
If you ain't in the playoffs, wow.
From April to when basketball gets started in October, November, from March to April, about 7 months, 6.5, 7 months. The women have 6 days. Hey, go to work, girl. You just got off on April the 5th. Good. We're starting April 12th. Report to work.
And then they piling on all these games. Piling on games. You in the same time frame. Piling on. You're going to start seeing a whole bunch of injuries with these young ladies. But you condensing all these games, as these new teams are coming on, you add 2-3 games to the schedule. Just like they added 4 games to the schedule this year. But they didn't spread the time out. It's just crazy.
I agree. And I mean, we talked about the fans as adversaries, but we also got to talk about the part the mainstream refuses to acknowledge. Fans can clip the entire narrative if we choose to. We're not just consumers; we're cultural stakeholders with real power, but we don't exercise this power. Oh yeah, down by DB, yeah, 2 Puff Joyce. Hey, 2 Puff Joyce be hooping. When fans stand up for black athletes, any athletes, amplify truth, push back on lies, shut down double standards, then the system shift. The same audience that can be weaponized can be a shield, y'all. Can also be a shield. Young black fans are allies who actually get it, calling out biased commentary in real time, checking reporters, dropping receipts, flipping narratives with clips that expose hypocrisy. That's one thing I love about the internet. That's one thing I love about the internet. Internet don't forget. And I don't know how people, they be like, oh, remember you had said you wasn't going to never wear no dress? You got that dress on for? Remember? Here go the clip, homie. Tagging networks demanding accountability. Educating each other about race, power, politics behind every hot take. That's not chaos. That's fan activism. See, and the part with real impact is when we rally behind athletes like Angel, Shedeur, Shikari, Serena. Any athlete under attack, it builds a buffer against humiliation tactics. Visibility becomes the protection. Pushback is armor, and a collective voice becomes the pressure. Fans can hold. We can hold brands accountable. We can force networks to rewrite narratives. We can break algorithms that reward hate and amplify the truth instead, but we have to spend our social media capital responsibly. We got to recognize our power and stop being an audience and become a force that demands the respect. from your perspective, Leo, how are today's fans rewriting the rules by creating our own media narratives and defending athletes in ways that didn't exist 10, 20, even 5 years ago?
Yeah, that's true. You know, today's fans, they like their own media ecosystem. They cutting clips, debunking lies, creating counter narratives, and amplifying the athlete voice in real time. And that's unlike past decades where traditional media controlled the entire story. You know, fans now challenge biased coverage instantly and publicly, often forcing networks and journalists to correct themselves. Now you could check a journalist, you know, quick, fast, and in a hurry. So that shift means that fans aren't consuming sports culture. They actively reshaping it, protecting athletes, and refusing to let outdated racial narratives go unchallenged. And so they rewriting the rules by refusing to let gatekeepers, you know, speak unchecked. And that's what we have to continue to do. You talk about it all the time about using your social capital, you know, in a way that you know, helps those that you claim to adore as athletes. You know, by not letting, I mean, it was so when Angel first hit the pros, man, it was so many channels springing up with just nonsense, you know, that it became exhausting. You know, so as long as you got fans that understand there is a system in place, and it's not a system that rewards everybody equally. There's a hierarchy, you know, that doesn't produce the result of fairness, you know, but you can still be a combatant. You can still be a soldier, you know, out here on the front line for these athletes. And our athletes need it desperately. You know, I think the only thing that have kept Angel sane and Shedeur probably from cracking up is the legion of fans that have come to their rescue, you know, debunking all the negativity that they're feeling. They know that they are loved and appreciated by somebody, and that's vitally important to the psyche of an athlete. Because these platforms, these plantations, these leagues, this is no easy task, you know, and it ain't for the faint of heart. You know, you have a young man out down at LSU that killed himself, you know, because his athletic dreams were being crushed by the fact that somebody was accusing him of being in an accident that, you know, seriously injured someone when he was a passerby, you know, and that was in his own hometown. You know, people just hating on him because of his success and because, you know, he's driving a fancy car. I guess he bought with his NIL money. But these kind of psychological things that damage these athletes are real. So, you know, as fans, you know, you can't just be a passive, you know, bystander clapping your hands and going along with any nonsense that's being put out from the top.
So, okay, you know, I totally agree with that. Let's flip the script a little bit and let's talk about what does effective fan activism look like then? And is it just calling out the misinformation? Is it boosting athlete-led platforms, demanding accountability, something deeper? What does that actually look like?
You know what? It goes beyond just calling things out. It's about shifting power. You know, and fans don't understand the enormous power that they have. Fans can shut down. This is a $250 billion sports industry we have in the United States. Fans can shut it down because no business can survive without customers. So, you know, it look good when you amplifying the athlete, you know, platform, when you on there, you know, pushing the right narratives and refusing to reward media outlets that traffic hate and harm. You know, you support directly, because now a lot of people are not with Shedeur, they supporting his brand, you know, on his space. You can go to Angel Reese, her platform, and buy stuff, you know, pass by these gatekeepers, you know. So it means creating a culture where the truth spreads faster than a smear campaign, where fans act as protective, you know, a protective community instead of passive spectators, you know. And at its core, fan activism is about aligning your voice, clicks, and your dollars with the athletes you claim to support. So if you're really behind them, you become because you got these aunties out here now, protecting these nephews and everybody, being an uncle and that type of thing. And that's what we have to do. Because online is like a war zone. It can really get nasty, and you don't understand these athletes. You can really, really damage them. Damage their psyche when they are constantly fed that and thinking that so many fans hate them and this, that, and the other. That's just not cool.
Absolutely. We talked about fans becoming a force. Let's talk strategy. Advocacy ain't vibes, okay? It ain't just hashtags. Advocacy is pressure with purpose. Advocacy is pressure with purpose. I need y'all to understand that. We got more tools. Fans today got more tools and influence than any generation before. But influence only matters if we use it. The influence we got only matters if we use it. See, advocacy means miscorrecting information in real time. On site with it. Like, on site with it. Y'all be laughing at me, but on site with it. Shut down racist tropes in comment sections right away. Boost the athlete-led media over biased platforms. Boost those athlete-led media over them biased platforms. Y'all don't have to click like and share on that bullshit.
Yep. I say that all the time.
That foolishness, man, it be foolishness. Don't stop that. Because that only perpetuates the bullshit. That makes the algorithm think, oh, this is what they like. I'm going to keep looking for this type of stuff to push.
Mm-hmm.
Stop circulating content designed to humiliate Black athletes. Stop it. Stop it. Support the brand the athlete own. Share the podcast they run. Buy the merchandise they create. Back the NIL deals that give them power. That's not chaos. That's precision. Facts, receipts, community. And the part people pretend not to understand is this. Fans can hit systems where it hurts, the visibility and the revenue. Fans can organize boycotts, amplify independent Black-led sport voices, demand better reporting, redirect the spotlight. We have power to do all of that, but we don't. And the crazy part is we ain't even got to go nowhere to do
it. Right at your mouth.
You already got that power right in your hand. That phone in your hand all the time. Damn near attached to it. They say the human body has already started adapting the hole in your phone where the pinky will clip it different now. So you can hold it and swipe and click. we morphing in the phone holder. Listen, we got to stop acting like spectators, y'all, for real, and start acting like participants. We can reshape the economic landscape around an athlete's career, and we can protect them from biases baked into traditional sports media. We don't have to just watch the game. We can change the game, but we got to want to. Fans really want to advocate for athletes like Angel, Shedeur, and Lil. What are the most effective strategies they can use, online and offline, to push back against these biased narratives?
You know what? The most effective strategy is coordinated visibility. Fans correcting misinformation very early. Amplifying positive clips before negativity takes over. And flooding the timelines with content instead of letting biased narratives go unchallenged. You're sitting there and you're seeing it and you're not, addressing it. So, offline, it looks like supporting community conversations, writing directly to these networks. We put up fan kits so that you have examples of letters of how you can show up and, put pressure on these gatekeepers. So when fans act collectively, fact checking, if, and refusing to be lazy, they force institutions to rethink how they frame Black athletes. And that's something that, we definitely have got to change. You say something about a Jewish anything and you'll get checked before you could make the next blink. That's how serious they are about you. You can't put out nothing about them and about what they doing without being checked. And that's how vicious we should be about, having things put out about our athletes. We should be just as protective, just as aggressive, in making sure that, you're not putting this out about, our young men, and you're not going to put that out about our queens. We have to be to the point where we don't allow it. We don't have a Black defamation league, to defend anti-Blackness, but we should. And we
You about to get
definitely
me
should do
started.
that in athletics.
You about to get me started, Lil. NAACP, where y'all at? What y'all doing? Don't get me started. What y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. Whew, I won't get started there. My goodness. And I'm not. We've been here a little bit longer than normal. I'm not gonna keep y'all too much longer, but I want to know how fans can leverage their economic power, like NIL support, the merch buying, to actually shift how the athletes are treated and framed in the media.
You know what? Economic pressure that that speaks the loudest. And fans can shift the landscape by directing their money towards athlete-owned brands. You know, and I'm seeing that with Shedeur. You think about it, Shedeur came in and made over $250 million that got split between all of the teams on the league. I think he only got 15 million of that deal. But just think if that $250 million had been, you know, shirts and stuff bought on his platform. You know, that's the kind of thing we got to stop doing. So now that they treating him like garbage, shouldn't nobody be out there buying no jersey, Browns jersey, you know, where a dollar goes anywhere near that organization, you know. So and then checking these companies that treat black athletes unfairly. You know, see, when fans consistently reward brands and platforms that uplift athletes, you know, while withdrawing their support from those that push harmful narratives, it forces the market to follow their value because everybody wants to keep a dollar rolling. So every purchase, subscription, engagement, you know, becomes a vote, and enough collective votes can reshape who gets visible, respected, and invested in sports media. Because right now, when you think about it, it's a lot of Cleveland fans really thinking about, you know, pulling off a boycott of that organization, you know, based on the way they are doing this young man. And I believe the pressure got to him where we got to get him on the field. We got to get him on the field. I mean, the bottom line is I'm not coming to see no substandard nothing. When I pay my money, I expect to see eliteness because you charging me an elite dollar. You know, it's just like over at Chicago Sky. Nobody coming to see that mess they was putting on the floor. You know, under some con that they was gonna win. Now they should have. They all should be in a civil lawsuit. Actually, you know, doggone well that mess they put on the floor wasn't competitive. You know, so you have the right paying your money, you know, to put down, you know, to make some demand because you actually are stakeholders in any organization. You're a stakeholder if you spending your money consistently, you know, going to see the so-called product they putting out there.
Mm-hmm. So let's before we close, we got to name the machinery behind all this, Lil. Because it's not random hate. Not what Angel and Shedeur get. Not, you know, Angel, Shedeur, Asia, Alicia, all of them. This is a system that's doing exactly what it's built to do. Outrage culture. This isn't outrage culture. This is discipline. This is correction. This is modern version of public punishment aimed at black confidence. The humiliation playbook didn't disappear, got upgraded. No ropes, no trees. Plenty of thumbs, tweets, headlines, dog whistles, viral shaming, doxing. Black athletes get turned into public spectacles on demand, not for entertainment, for enforcement. It's not entertainment, it's enforcement. We need to understand that, right? Yeah, I'm not coming to see Otis play quarterback. We're not coming to see Otis play quarterback. The message is always the same. Don't get too proud. Don't get too loud. Don't celebrate too boldly. These campaigns operate like digital lynching rituals, not in physical harm, but in psychological warfare, reputation attacks, character assassinations, public correction meant for mass consumption. The goal is obedience, not feedback. Make the athlete doubt themselves. Make them shrink their personality. Tone down their joy. Make the next Angel or next Shedeur hesitate before shining. If you can humiliate the visible, you can silence the rest. Think about that. If you can humiliate the visible, you can silence the rest. That's the playbook. We exposing every page of that. Let's humiliate the visible. Everybody else gonna stay quiet because they wasn't saying nothing anyway. If you can get the ones that's willing to say something, if you can get the ones that's willing to be bold, to be a little bit less bold, it's gonna make them other ones think that they can't anyway. Humiliate the visible. Silence the rest. Be visible, folks. Be visible. We are empowered to be visible. Your social currency makes you visible. And guess what? Guess what? For those of y'all those y'all that go, ooh, auntie, I don't be doing people like that. It can be a faceless visible. See, in this faceless virtual world, your face don't got to be out there. So you talk about the humiliation economy, Lil. Black athletes get forced into this humiliation economy. Can you break down how this public shaming functions as a modern form of social control?
Yeah, the humiliation economy works by turning moments of Black confidence into public spectacles where punishment becomes entertainment. So every gesture, facial expression, or mistake, it gets magnified. Then it gets weaponized to remind the Black athlete that their visibility can be revoked at any time. Imagine, being powerless in that way. And so the goal is to make them second guess themselves, shrink their personality, or internalize the fear of backlash. So I'm not gonna do this because somebody might, blah blah blah. And that's control through embarrassment. You using the same, using shame as a leash to keep Black athletes, performing, but never fully empowered. And so, what happens when you constantly see Shedeur on the sideline, unable to play, that's and not being given an opportunity is a form of humiliation. Knowing that you came from college and was an awarded quarterback. I think he won the highest award they give quarterbacks coming out of Colorado. And you they putting you on the practice team when you was projected to be the second or third pick, or at least a top 10 pick at best. I don't know how the young man survived it, to be honest. It took quite a strong mind for him to survive it and still want to play. And they doing this because the NFL is the only game in town. You don't want to go overseas. You don't want to go to Canada because you have worked your behind off to earn the right to play in the NFL. But then you got these mechanisms of control just because you flashing a watch. I think somebody was paying them to wear a certain. I mean, that's just a little branding thing, and it's just crazy. I mean, the kids enjoy it. It should not have been something that somebody in power was so jealous of, so envious of, that they would seek to punish that man in that way.
You know why they mad? They can't make no money off of it. What watch is it? They don't know. It's just his wrist. Ain't nobody mama got to go buy nothing for their kid to be like Shedeur. Just throw your wrist up, honey. Just throw your wrist up, baby. They ain't got to go buy nothing. That's what they pissed off about for real. They like, what's the Shedeur thing? A wrist. You ain't got to go buy nothing. It's just you. They mad as hell. They wish it was a snapback hat or a t-shirt or some kind of logo or something that they could slap on that shit and make it mass produce it and make a whole lot of money. Shedeur was like, yep, nothing, my wrist. Boom, hold it up. Boom, everybody got one. Yeah, they mad as hell, Lil. They mad as hell. They can't make no money off that.
They got his old yeah. Oh my goodness. Hopefully he got a license.
I mean, ain't nothing but look, and the crazy thing is, Lil, if you turn it around, it look different. If you flip that wrist around, what you got? When you flip that thing around, see, words matter, visibility, things matter. When you flip that thing around, you understand? It's something different. It's power in it. But we gonna get ready to wrap this thing. We gonna bring this. We gonna land this plane and let y'all get out of here because it's the weekend. We talked about what happened to Angel, Shedeur. We talked about the full machine behind the backlash. Name the coded language, double standards, cultural policing that always comes for Black confidence. Pulled out the history behind the hit jobs, politics running underneath the outrage. Laid out the digital pylons that don't just hurt feelings, shape careers, shrink visibility, hit people pocketbooks, and send warning shots to every young Black athlete watching. We highlighted the power fans actually hold to defend athletes, challenge media lies, and flip entire narratives in real time. Sports aren't just games, they battlegrounds. and we just mapped the terrain. It'll close us out.
Thank you. Look, I want to thank everyone for coming. Everyone in this room for being part of the conversation that goes deeper than highlights and hot takes. What we explored tonight wasn't about moments, it's about systems. The way joy becomes a threat, the way dominance becomes disrespect, the way Black excellence is celebrated on the court, but then policed everywhere else. So we didn't just talk sports, we really talking about power. And so the next episode on PoliSports Tea Time, we diving into HBCUs and answering the question if they're being positioned to explode into the global sports economy through the one man that's shaking the entire shoe industry, and that's Kyrie Irving. So we're gonna talk about him next time. Kyrie, China, and the new Black athletic economy, and Kyrie Irving and his shoe company Etna about to flip the shoe game, with HBCs leading the charge. And, we done had a few HBCUs, take down a couple of D1 schools out here, girls and boys, in this basketball thing. So we may have athletes deciding, hey, I'm going to go to a HBCU and enjoy that experience, because that's an experience like none other, So
Tulane lost by 30. And Kim says she ain't going to play them no more. So there's that. HBCUs out here causing a headache. She's like,
hey,
they were like, and the coach said they were, no, we won't play them again. No, we won't play them. Well, God, wait a minute. Now, hold up. You just won't play them again, huh? All right, keep ducking smoke. Yeah, listen. Hey, great conversation. Went a little bit over. Appreciate y'all pulling up and rocking with us. Yolanda Wells, fam, we appreciate you. We appreciate the interaction, y'all. We appreciate FM. Who was that? Latrell. SC State. SC State for sure. Everybody that participated today, man, we really appreciate the conversation. June Brown. I know I'm missing some of y'all. Eric Gary. I know I'm missing some. I think Down by the Beats. I'm sure that I'm missing some of y'all, but we appreciate all of the interaction. Unbridled Instinct, everybody that pulled up and had this conversation with us. MJ Lover. Hey, listen, we back again. White Wolf, we back again next week. We're gonna talk Kyrie, and then we are going back into the broken sky. We thought the sky was broke, but still got some stuff we got to talk about there. We thought we had wrapped. We thought we had wrapped the sky, and no, it's still breaking. The sky is still breaking. So we back with more Chicago Sky News. I did want to take a minute to thank Green Thumb for becoming a YouTube member. We appreciate the support, fam. More to come. Thank you so much. Listen, y'all tap in with us if you think this episode exposed the playbook. Wait until we trace the global money, the athlete ownership shifts, and the next evolution of Black power in sports. Sports never just about the games played, about the stories told and the systems we expose. Stay locked in for PoliSports Tea Time. Next episode, we follow the money, naming the power, and we're gonna keep pulling the mask off the machinery behind the outrage. Political ill, Cess, your favorite auntie with Uncle Tendencies. This is Be Wise PoliSports Tea Time, where sports, power, and justice collide. Y'all stay tuned. Talk soon. Me and Political Ill, we gonna get on out of here, man. Y'all enjoy the weekend.
Thank y'all.
That's it. Sky need Gorilla Glue. Okay. Done by the Beach One. Appreciate you, fam.
Duct tape.
Hey, bubblegum and duct tape, y'all. We